PAX Unplugged. I'm bringing you the best coverage. I've got great interviews coming in. I'm here at one of the most unique booths that I've seen so far. This is Studio Wumpus. I'm here with Misha and Josh. How are you guys today?
Good.
Doing great so far.
So they have this really unique game called Sumer, as you can see going on in the background. Now, this is different, and this is something that I think we're going to see at PAX more than at other normal board game conventions we go to, because you've made a worker placement, but it's fully done in Steam, and I see Switch controls. So tell me about this.
That's right. This is a worker placement board game video game. Very, very inspired by Euro designs, like Agricola, kind of classic. Basically, like everything that's come out in the last 20 years, we feel like hasn't been properly explored in a digital medium. We wanted to bring it to the Switch and to the computer.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements of like modern board game design that are super interesting that no one's really done in a video game format. So yeah, we wanted to see like kind of what we could do with that in a video game that you can't do in a board game.
So talking about this, how is it in terms of doing that? Were you originally video game designers, or were you a board game designers who said, I want to get in the video game, or how did you kind of do this crossover?
Kind of both. So I have a published board game, but we're all like super interested in both board games and video games. So I guess for a lot of us this is the first like video game we've published. But yeah, so a little both.
I think actually at this point, most of the people on the team have experience with both video games and board games. So it just kind of felt natural to do something that was a mix of the two. Yeah,
it's kind of a cool crossover. I mean, I think the idea of doing a Euro game and a worker placement, but making it more accessible, because now that people are using iPhones, the Switch, all these portable electronics, it's kind of neat, and you're kind of the pioneers of this. And how does it feel to be in the forefront of this, I guess we'll call it a new market for board gaming?
It's exciting. I mean, we're hoping that it kind of catches on. We're trying to get out in front of it, I guess, and like inspire other developers to do the same kind of thing. Because this is something that we want to see as players, as well as hoping it is successful as developers.
And then like everything that is kind of new and groundbreaking in some ways, we actually feel like we're just trying to bring back something actually from like the early 80s. One of the huge other inspirations for this game was Mule, which was an old game for like the Atari and stuff. And that game basically did everything like revolutionary about Catan, like a full decade before Catan came out. And so it's, again, also kind of like an economically driven like board game, video game almost. And we wanted to bring that back while also kind of doing something nobody's done for like 30 years.
It's very interesting that you mentioned Mule, because they just made a board game about Mule about a year and a half ago. And so they took what was a video game into a board game, and now you're doing the opposite. You're taking the board game into the video game world, but keeping board game elements, which is new for this market. And yeah,
no, it's there's definitely kind of felt like the time was ripe to make Mule likes a thing in the digital realm.
Yeah, and that is, it feels like it was a genre that like should have been opened up by Mule, and that's no one really ever followed up on. So we kind of went back and like rediscovered it, and trying to bring back something like that.
No, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm hoping that it's a growing market, because when people are on the go or you're on an airplane and you want to be able to do something, this is the perfect way to play a game. I know there's a lot of apps for games, but this is going a step further now and developing games specifically for an app.
Yeah, and it lets us do some things that you can't, like, or would be very difficult to normally do in a board game. So we can have sort of like things that are like worth arbitrary numbers of points that like it's not an issue to have to worry about counters or whatever, because the computer's just going to handle all that for you. Or we can handle randomization in like specific ways that don't have to involve like shuffling tons of decks together in a way that's like super fiddly. So we get a lot of stuff out of it being a video game while still being able to sort of hew to the core board game design elements.
And how do you feel about that, like bringing this into the world?
Oh, great so far. This it's kind of amazing how much fun this game is still for the developers to play, kind of after working on it for years. It's kind of the cliche that you start to hate anything you're working on in a digital game once you worked on it long enough, and that just hasn't happened yet, which seems like a good sign to me.
And where can we find this at the moment, and where can we find it in the future?
So it's currently available on Steam Early Access. It's fully playable. The main thing that's going to be in the full release will be online multiplayer. So right now it's local only. And then we're hoping to release on Nintendo Switch in early winter. Yeah, this winter.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing this and seeing how it plays and getting the board game feel in the electronic world.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to interview us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, look forward to playing it with tons of people at this con.
Yes. Well, again, Studio Wumpus, and look for Sumer out now, and very excited about these new technologies, and we'll bring you more coverage from here at PAX Unplugged.